Hey, what's up? Silas here. This is a garden here in Nairobi, Kenya. I'm just doing some weeding. I'm just going to do a short video just kind of talking about different things in here and the different plants. Just doing some weeding out here. And there was something I saw here that made me think, okay, let me actually just put a video up here and kind of discuss some of the things I'm seeing here. And I'll just start over here and just name some of the plants that are in here and then just talk about different things. Right here, this is an onion plant. I remember there was a video I was doing talking about walking with hamburgers when I was walking out in the street and seeing cows, and I was talking about how some people don't know what an onion looks like. They may actually think onions grow in trees like apples, and that's how you pick them. But no, onions grow in the ground. They're a tuber. I think it's a root. Is it a tuber or a root? I need to double check that. It's either a tuber or a root. I think it might be a tuber. But anyway, these are spring onions. So these ones you kind of just grasp them from here and you just cut them off normally close to the bottom. You don't have to uproot the whole thing. It's kind of like the scallion family. You can uproot the whole thing and take it that way, or you can just cut them off slowly by slowly and then they'll regrow and they'll just keep going throughout the season. And one positive thing about here in Kenya, right now I think it's about 75 degrees, is it's always growing season. You can always kind of grow something. I mean, there are some colder seasons where you'll have on average around 60, lower 60 degree weather. But in general, the biggest problem in Africa, I think in sub-Saharan Africa, at least from my experience here in Kenya, is not lack of land, it's not lack of the food, it's just lack of the infrastructure and the planning to get food from point A to point B. A secondary issue is also the cultural aspect. There's so many different kinds of foods to eat, yet you have some people who will eat every single kind of possible nutrition in the given area that they live in. But if you bring them nutrition from somewhere else, they might have a certain distrust for it or just not be familiar with it or not want to eat it. But that's a common thing that you see all around the world, because right now we have places like in the United States of America where different things happen for the same reasons, or the same things happen for different reasons. Because you have people who, this video I was talking about how there's fruitarians or something, extreme vegans, who get to the point where they say they're not actually going to eat anything from a plant that you have to actually pluck. Let's say you have to pluck something off of a plant, like this is collard greens right here. You see, with collard greens, the way you harvest it is you just cut off the leaves. You'll just break off the leaves here and then it'll keep growing. And you see right now this is like a smaller offshoot, but normally the main shoot will come out this way and have its actual leaves. And then as it gets older, as the plant gets older, it'll get secondary offshoots that'll have its eventual leaves. Now this is kind of a trunk, I guess you could say, and these are kind of the branches and whatnot. So you rip that off. So they'll say that's actually harming the plant, so they won't do that. They'll only eat fruits or things that fall off of plants, etc. And with things falling off plants, there's a lot of avocados that fall off this avocado tree right there. We'll get to that later. And there are these tiny avocados that we kind of just leave to sit in the garden. You can pull them out, but they can also just kind of rot and become part of the food and the soil and whatnot. And some of the bigger ones will fall off, but most of them that fall off are these little small ones that even if you do take those and try to take them into your kitchen or try to make them to ripen up, they go past the point where it's ripe enough to eat and into rotting. You know, I was thinking, oh, they're kind of those little hand-sized ones, so it'd be kind of cool, like a small little snack. You just get it and use a couple of spoonfuls out. No, it goes straight to rotting. It's either raw or rotting. And there's something that's done with food in industrial farming where they'll pluck foods before they're ripened. They can dry freeze them, where they can use chemicals, and that gets them to actually stay until they want to ripen them. But you also have situations where I experienced this situation where I got to one place and I saw, for some reason, there were these apples in the fridge, and I kept track of these apples. This was in the United States of America. I kept track of those apples, and those apples didn't seem to change over months. Every time I kept checking them, they were still there, and that kind of freaked me out. I was like, that is not okay. Now, when you're putting that into your body, what exactly does that do? Now, I'm not one of those people who's like, everything genetically modified is horrible, because humans are genetically modified. If you take a vaccine, you are modifying your genes. If you even select who you're going to marry, you're modifying your genes in a way. There's some eugenics, there's some genetic modification going in there. If you choose to eat healthier food versus junk food, you're modifying your genes and epigenetics and things like that. So I'm not against that. Okay, now we're over here. There's this plant here, this kind of gourd plant. It's kind of this spiky. I don't know what the actual name of this is, Might double check, but anyway, you can see it's climbed on the wall, onto the roof, onto that security wire. I don't think that's electrified, but even if it is, I think this is like the honey badger of plants. Don't give a damn. Spiky pumpkin, spiky gourd, don't give a damn. Climbs everywhere, goes in everything. And to take that even further, you can see it's come out here and it sends out these little trunks. I mean, these little roots and fingers, and sends them out, and then it has these little feelers that go out that are rather straight. And once they grasp onto something, they spin up. And that's how they climb on things, and that's how they hold on to things. And I noticed that while I was out here doing some weeding, and you can even see it's grasped onto the spring onion here. Gotten rather a tight grasp onto that. I guess you can cut off the spring onion and pull it out. But it had grasped onto this plant, and I kind of pulled this off of it. But you can see how spiraled up it is, and you can see how on the lead they're kind of straightened out, because these are the feelers that they send out, and once it grasps onto a plant, or once it grasps onto something and gets purchased, it spins up somehow. Now, this is a living creature. This is how things move. Things move in this slower way. Now, they're not human beings, or they're not mammals, or they're not animals, so they don't move as fast as people think. So when someone says, okay, a plant is dead, no, plants are alive. Part of the cycle of life is eating things that are alive and taking that energy into us. Now here there's some cilantro, which is called dania here. You can see the cilantro here. Very tasty, really love cilantro. This little grasshopper over there, some kind of gnat, not a gnat, some kind of grasshopper gnat. Tomato plants are in here. I don't know, this might be, no, I don't, not want to say the name, but it's different traditional plants that are eaten here. For different tribes, different regions eat different traditional plants. I think there's some Kiluya name for this that I forgot right now. And when I'm doing the weeding, some of the weeding, like I know this is an actual plant, but then it comes to the point where this isn't a plant. Yet this isn't a plant to me, but this to somebody may be something that they eat, although I think it's just a weed. And so I go through some trouble. I'm not really too good at recognizing what is what. Like right now, I'm like, is this the same plant? They're two the same plants? Oh, the leaves look close. The little flowers look close. Are they? No? Yes, no, no, yes. This stalk has more hairs on it. This one doesn't. I don't know. But I get some help when I'm doing some of these things. Here's another different plant. Kind of looks like the marijuana. I watched this thing. Someone said marijuana. Marijuana. It was this guy in, I think it was in Scotland or something. This show. He said it in a really funny way. But then you can see also here the stalk has little hairs on it. And you can see this one has been cut off here because it's been harvested already. And this is the thing, you just leave it in the garden, and some of these plants just keep giving you vegetables all around the year. Just keeps coming and keeps coming, keeps coming. Okay, so as I said, these are the collard greens right here. Now there's cool things of seeing the different families of plants. There's this traditional vegetable here called kunde, which is actually cowpeas. I finally looked and saw what it was in English. And it's cowpeas, so that comes into the family of beans and chickpeas and all those kind of things. So beans also are another plant that has that little vine that kind of grasps onto things. And with the beans, I was thinking, okay, so how come people don't actually eat the bean plants, since the cowpea thing is something that's eaten here? And they're like, okay, no, I was told that bean plant itself, it's too bitter, so they don't even go to that, or it's too tough. But then some countries, they eat the bean sprouts, and even that's something that's starting to be done here in Kenya as well, in Nairobi. Now right here, these are cabbage plants. I'm talking about the same families of plants. These are cabbages, those are collard greens, and over here are some broccoli plants. Now with the broccoli, it kind of comes up, and as you can see here, it's been harvested, the head is here. Just like you can see right there, the head of the broccoli, so you'll harvest that from there. And we had this experience when we were in Italy, with my family. We didn't have access to collard greens there, but since in Italy they come those farmers markets type thing, they would bring the entire broccoli plant, and then the leaves would be there, and then like, oh, these leaves look like the leaves on collard greens. And we tried them, and the taste was rather close. I mean, it was a good substitute, so we ended up eating that. Now here with the cabbages, you can see it starts off quite similar looking to collard greens or broccoli, but when they get bigger, you can see they're starting to crown up. Their heads are starting to form. The leaves are starting to, they say jikunja, to fold on into each other. And you can see there's a bunch of This is how they go, and they stay lower to the ground than the collard greens over there, or the broccoli plants over here. And I was talking about the avocados just dropping off of the tree here, and I'm going to finish off with my favorite flower. I think this might be my favorite flower in the world. It's very close. It's one of my favorite flowers. But right here, this is a passion fruit flower. Another one of the vine plants. So this is probably close to the same family as pumpkins, as gourds, and things like that. But really intricate flower here. And I'm just curious, like, why did the flower develop this way? Why develop with all these little, I don't even know what to call them. These little spiral-y things, hairy looking things. But yeah, this is one type of passion fruit. I know there's at least two. There's like yellow passion fruit. I think these are the purple ones. These will get darker, and these are the ones that you kind of see black and dried up. And I think that's it for the video here. Like right here, I don't know what to do the weeding there, because that's one of the sections where I don't know what is the plant and what is the weeds. And oh yeah, there's also some mint over here. Really like coming out here when I'm planting and just do the whole little rub thing and smell and get that strong smell of mint. But yeah, this is just a garden here, and I think if you guys have some land somewhere, you should definitely take some time to actually consider getting out there and actually having a garden. Let me know if you guys have had a garden in your past before, a little home garden, or if you've considered doing it. Even if you just buy some little pots and you put something in there, some herbs or something, it's kind of cool to do. And if you have a vacation time or something, some weekend, even if you live in the city, you probably live in somewhere close enough where you can find some agricultural tourism. You can take a weekend off and go somewhere on someone's farm. I think that'd be, I don't know, I enjoy doing it. These are some of the few times where I'll actually come out and I won't have like headphones on, listen to music. I'll just come and kind of just do something with my hands. And I thought it was also kind of cool. I draw a lot, do a lot of art, and just kind of seeing the different hand movements that it takes to do something like this, to do weeding using your hands versus to draw and do stuff like that. But yeah, that's it with this short video. Try to remember if there's anything else I can think of. Oh yeah, below links to merchandise store. I'm going to have a shirt coming up with a separate video called Green Leaves Matter, which is kind of good to be talking about how those people who are vegetarians because they say they don't want to hurt living creatures by killing animals, just because you can't hear animals, just because you can't understand plants screaming, just because you can't hear their pain doesn't mean they don't have feelings and they don't have emotion and they don't move like the honey badger plant over there who doesn't give a damn. But yeah, this is kind of the thing. Just had these little thoughts. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you guys have farmed. Let me know if you had seen any of these plants before. I'd seen cabbages before. I kind of think that's kind of cool how they develop that way. Also reminds you of Little Shop of Horrors. See more. Anyway, that's it for now. Like, share, and subscribe. Till next video. Goodbye.